Alright guys, welcome to another video. I hope all is well with you guys. So I want to talk a little bit of football, and what I mean by football, I mean African soccer, basically. So first and foremost, I want to say, you know, it looks like we're gonna have the Cup of Nations coming up. We got the Cup of Nations coming up in this Sunday. As a matter of fact, I believe they're doing Cup of Nations this Sunday. First and foremost, I want to say, this tournament, I mean, in my opinion, I think personally the tournament should be moved. And the reason why I think it should be moved is because of the simple fact that European teams don't really respect the African teams who are partaking in the tournament, and they are reluctant to release players to participate in the tournament. So I think, personally, if I were the powers that be, that I would change the tournament, change when the tournament is. And the reason that is because if you change the tournament to a time when the players are able to, be fresh, then it could possibly work for them better. But at the same time, the European teams don't really respect the players, and the players' obligation to compete in the tournament. As a matter of fact, a lot of the teams were reluctant to release the players to go play. Now, secondly, Samuel Eto'o has came out and said that it's not he doesn't see why an African team can't win the World Cup. And while I can say that it's on paper and logically it sounds good, him saying it, the reality is quite different. And the reason why that reality is quite different is because of the just rampant corruption and lack of infrastructure when it comes to these African teams. I mean, when you really look at the bigger picture, when you don't have the proper facilities and when you don't have the proper places where you can have when you can get medical attention and the like thereof, it's pretty hard to make a team that covers all areas. And then another thing is having the correct coaching in order to achieve your goals, and so that's what we have to keep in mind when we look at the situation when it comes to developing continental African teams that can do it. And then also you have to look at chemistry too, because you have some domestic players who play on domestic African teams versus some African players who play abroad. And when you put those together, you have to find a way to make them have cohesion, because the European game is faster than the African game, and that's due just to infrastructure and what have you. So I want to just give a forecast of the possible win. I'm not making any I'm not making any quote unquote predictions of one final winner right now. I have to see how the tournament plays out and what it looks like. Well, I'm just gonna like name some of the major players that maybe be able to take the whole thing. Senegal, with Senegal, unfortunately, it seems like they've always come up short. They either do really good or they either do really bad. Like what happens is they, I remember one year, I think it was like a year before last. I don't think they, or a year, it could have been in 2018 where they didn't even leave the group stage. And El Haj Diouf, he called it and he said, Senegal, they're incompetent. They can't really do what it is that they need to do in order to leave the group stage and be victorious. He called that. And so, unfortunately that came to pass. Then, Senegal wasn't able to leave the group stage. And then when they did leave the group stage, I believe that they missed a penalty shootout, and that was against Cameroon. And so, they've always come up short. And then when they did make it to the final against Algeria scored 1 goal and then decided to defend the whole time. But I think, everything leading up to the group stages and the knockout stages of those group stages, it looks like everything is clicking so far when it comes to Senegal. It looks like everything is kind of coming together. So it remains to be seen if that can carry on into the tournament, So I give them a chance at winning the whole thing. Now, another team, but they've been kind of shaky, but maybe they can get it together during the tournament, is Nigeria. And, the thing is about Nigeria, this is one thing I notice. This is the one thing I notice about Nigeria. You have, Nigerian players, and then when they go to Europe, some of them make the cut. Some of them thrive in Europe, But a lot of the Nigerian players, they just kind of fall by the wayside when they get to Europe for some reason. The only ones that don't fall by the wayside are those who are competing, I want to say, for adopted national teams. So you'll have guys like, I think you'll have the Bukola guy on Arsenal and things like that. You'll have a lot of Nigerian descended players who opt to play for England, and they thrive for the most part, but then when it comes to the ones from the continent, they kind of don't thrive, it seems like. I don't know why that is, but they have momentum, and then that momentum dies off for some reason, and they end up playing somewhere like in Saudi Arabia or something like that, or in one of these Gulf countries. I don't know why, but that usually seems to be the case with them. But with that being said, I think they can do something, maybe make some noise this time around. The one who is kind of thriving is who's thriving in Europe and who hopefully can keep the momentum up is Victor Osimhen, who plays for Napoli. And I think, hopefully he can keep that momentum up. He's a good forward. I also look at Umar Sadiq. He's another forward. He plays for Almeria in the Segunda Division, and he's been scoring. He's been lighting it up, and I think at this point he needs to move teams and go to like a bigger team. I think he can handle it. So Nigeria, I think they sacked their coach, and so technically they don't really have a coach. And what I mean by that, they really don't have an official coach that is going to like how should I put it, assist. Like, they don't have like an official coach that they hired. They just pretty much took someone from the federation and said, okay, you're in charge of the team now, because they didn't really have time to get a coach, you know what I mean? So I don't know how that's going to work out for them. We have to just look at how the chemistry plays out for them and see if, they can gel and come together. But I mean, they call Nigeria, for example, the Giants of Africa, the Giant of Africa, the Heartbeat of Africa. They use all these words. But I think the last time Nigeria took the Cup of Nations was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they took it maybe 4 years ago, I think. They won Cup of Nations. I don't remember, but I think they beat, it was Ivory Coast they beat. I don't remember. It's been a while. I have to look it up. Another team, of course, is Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. Now, with them, again, they've came up short as well. And it's like always, like with Ivory Coast, they come up short. And I think they won it 1 year. And this is a year after, I think it was a year or two after Drogba retired. And that's when they won the Cup of Nations. I remember that. And with Ivory Coast, they got some heavy hitters who are in Europe. You have Nicolas Pepe, but he hasn't really played a lot, but he's still a threat nonetheless. And you also have Wilfried Zaha, who he's always a threat. And you also have you have a couple of players there who may be able to get the job done. Would it really depend? And you have Sergi Aguero as well. Arguez. Yeah, you have Sergi Arguez in the defense, who's a powerful defender and who basically, when you really look at it, he becomes like a center back. He becomes a center back, or I should say like a center mid, because of his skills. So they do have some players who may be able to take them. As much as I hate to say it, because of my feeling towards North Africans, I have to keep it a spade. And these feelings come from interactions with them, and also you see them show themselves on Clubhouse as well. You see them show themselves for who they really are on Clubhouse. But I have to give Algeria a a nod, because you know, with them there is a possibility that they can win again. You know, especially with the players they have. They have Riyad Mahrez. I think they have Fauzi Gulam. And they have a lot of good guys who are either playing in Italy, playing in Spain, or also playing in England, you know what I mean? Or playing in France as well. You can't discount them. They have a chance. The thing I dislike though is their racist sentiments. You know, I'm not gonna even cap. You know, when it comes to North Africans, and that's another video in itself, they're extremely racist towards sub-Saharan Africans, but we're not gonna even get started on it. So it's kind of hard for me to like even say that they have a chance at winning, but they do indeed have a chance at winning. But I think maybe another North African team, Egypt, actually repeated back-to-back African Cup of Nations wins, but so far though, Egypt hasn't really been looking that strong, even though they have Mo Salah, and they have another player who used to play for Arsenal. They haven't really been looking that strong, you know. I'm just gonna be honest. So I kind of discount Egypt in having a chance to win the whole thing. Potential wildcard teams that may win or have a good chance at winning is Mali. Although you don't hear about Mali that much, Mali does have a pretty solid team. They do have like a team that has like developed, and you know, a lot of the players in Mali, they pretty much have been under the radar in terms of like Europe, on the European stage, but they came together pretty well nationally. So Mali does have a chance to win. Another potential wild card I would say is Cabo Verde. The thing is, Cabo Verde has quietly climbed up the FIFA rankings, and you have players who are mostly playing abroad, and you know, they've kind of organized themselves to be a pretty threat, you know, that may be like one of the dark horses of the tournament. However, I don't think they've ever made it past the knockout stage in the Cup of Nations, but there's a first time for everything. Their group stages were a little shaky, but there's a possibility that they can actually come out and, you know, surprise some people. So I don't discount Cabo Verde to come out and maybe surprise people. You know, I don't put it past them. They may do that, you know. So yeah, you know, I will say that. Other dark horses, maybe there's one more dark horse I can say. Well, actually, not a dark horse, but I'm gonna end this video on this. Cameroon. You know, Cameroon, you can't discount them. They've always been like consistent. That's one thing I can say about Cameroon. You can give them consistency when it comes to the tournament. I think they've always made it, like for the past few tournaments, they've always made it to the knockout stages. So you can't discount Cameroon. I think they've gotten new momentum with Samuel Eto'o being, I think he's the chairman of the Cameroon Football Federation. Like he's a chairman or something like that. So you can't discount Cameroon. You can't like, how should I put it? Say that they can't win. There's a very big possibility that they can win it. And we just have to wait and see what happens. But if I have to choose, and I'm just gonna review the people that I kind of favor to win, and my views may change as the tournament, as we get more into the tournament. But if I had to choose who is gonna win, I would choose either Senegal, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Algeria, Cameroon, and maybe as dark horses, Mali and Cabo Verde. But anyhow, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Let me know what y'all think. I want to know y'all predictions. Who do you think is going to come out on top in the tournament? And yeah, we'll revisit this as the tournament commences. Anyhow, Foolish signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. I'm Jado.